over this Coyotes organization as we kind of talked about it yesterday, and we continue to talk about it. And joining us now is former Coyotes coach, now part of Go PHNX, which does a tremendous job covering this and was getting ready to throw a big party when the vote was supposed to turn to a yes. Did not happen. Instead, we get to talk about the possible future of no professional hockey here in the Valley. Steve, I know you've had some time to kind of let this settle in, but how is this different than the last few times that this organization has tried to get a new arena or tried to find a new home and it just kind of failed for whatever reason?
You know, this one feels different. And after the vote came out, it was stunned silence when we were watching along with everyone else. I really was expecting this to be an overwhelming victory for the Arizona Coyotes. I really was. I was stunned that this did not pass down in Tempe. But for the first time since late 90s, when Wayne Gretzky saved this team from moving to Portland at the 11th hour, this one felt different. This one felt like, this one could be the end. I've had 24 hours. I've taken a deep breath. I might have been able to change my mind a little bit and try to sneak some positivity into this.
All right, Steve, what do you think of the voting breakdown where it was 63% of people over 65 voted against the opportunity to build that complex in Tempe?
Well, here's the thing, and here's where I put some of the onus and some of the blame on the Coyotes ownership and management, is they didn't address the right people and they didn't get their message out to the right people in the right time frame.
Okay.
You looked at after the Tempe City Council said, okay, this is going to referendum. Within days, the Tempe First No campaign had information out there. Whether it was completely truthful or not can be debated, but it was out there. The Coyotes delayed. They were late. It's weeks for them to get their first message out. And then they're messaging where they already had the votes. They messaged inside Mullet Arena during games. They were advertising on Valley Sports during Coyote games. Like, I think they have those votes. So I'm not sure they targeted the audience they needed to hit. The two things that when you bring up the elderly vote, they didn't hit that 65 to 74 market, which clearly voted more than anyone else in this election. And the other group that is the largest population in Tempe is the 18 to 34-year-olds, and they didn't vote. So you didn't get them informed enough to go out, get registered, and how important it was for them to have their voice heard. So they missed it on both ends. They didn't inform the young voters, and they didn't vote. And the people that did vote, they didn't have the correct information and didn't understand the vote. So I put the onus on the Coyotes on that.
You know, Steve, it's easy to be an armchair general manager or president after the fact. But to me, and you know my background, this is marketing 101. I mean, tomorrow's future today, and showing a TV campaign with the grandma and grandpa having, seen their kid playing hockey in a young level, then seeing them actually taking tickets out at the arena, to working and having dinner at the entertainment district. I mean, you could go on and on. This was not a tough sell. It really wasn't. And that's the frustrating part that I point to this Yotes team, this organization that does not have a good history of this. This isn't their wheelhouse. And this is not Gutierrez's background as sports marketing, even the executives there. And then the Tempe City Council, you got to point fingers at them too, and the mayor for not flowing some more money into this too. But you're right. They could have easily went after the 60-plus demographic, showcased, older people with families, and they would have gotten it. It would not have been that difficult.
And the other part of it, too, and I agree with that, but the other part that you're hearing even after the fact, and I've talked to people, and I've had conversations with people online, and why people voted no is they said, well, I don't want my taxes to go up. And the frustrating part for me was, that wasn't in the deal. Your taxes aren't going up. So that told me they didn't get the message. They didn't get the message delivered to them in a succinct way that they understood, oh, I don't have to pay for this? Really? They didn't understand it. And if they're telling me that 2 days after the vote, they didn't get the information before the vote. Well, so that is, honestly, that's a huge problem. Because this, and you've heard it from the Tempe City Council, this is the best sports arena deal in the state of Arizona history. Like, this wasn't publicly funded. They're not on the hook like they've paid for things at Footprint Center and other buildings that you've had. This was an unbelievable financial windfall for the city of Tempe through tax revenues and all of the things that they were going to get, including a check to remediate the land the day after the vote. Like a $40 million non-refundable check. Here you go, clean the land. You know, it's really frustrating. It was really a good deal.
Yep.
And it's too bad that now they have to start looking elsewhere.
And Steve, and you listen to all the excuses. I'm looking at stuff online, watching all the news reports the last 2 nights. A lot of people, they understood the message. They got the memo. They just were not going to vote, thinking of all these misnomers, as you mentioned. Taxes are going to be raised. Or there were 2 of them that said, well, this is just too good to be true. Yeah, there's no way, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we can go fix this up and fix that up. Well, with that landfill, it's going to cost $50, $60 million, no matter what you do now, City of Tempe tax people, because they're going to tax you. So message was clear in a lot of people's minds. They just didn't trust the billionaire owner.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, too. And you've got to go back to the history of Morello's public image here in the state of Arizona, whether it's deserved or undeserved, and you can talk about the bills being unpaid and so forth and all the stories behind those. Again, whether they're true or not, that's the perception. And you needed to overcome that perception because people voted against the man and not the deal in some cases. Yeah. So again, you talk about the marketing, explain that. Tell people what it's really like. Tell people why these other things happened and why, hey, you're not voting against the man, you're voting against your own city on this. People are telling you you're voting against him, but my goodness, what a good thing this would be for your community and your city, and not just growth, but economically this was a boon. And one other thing I heard from somebody that came back to me and said, well, if this goes up, my property value is going to go up. I'm like, that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
And they said, no, because my taxes will go up.
Oh,
no. I said, wait a minute. So your property tax will go up, but your house increases in value. Isn't that a good thing? And they just didn't understand the economics of it. Can't win. And so I am frustrated a bit of the way the Coyotes approached, and I thought this will nail in the coffin, and this was finally it. But I still have hope.
All right. If you still have hope, they have already come out and indicated that they are going to play this upcoming season at Mullet Arena. This again, or is that gone?
Well, and it would be just like you would do if you'd have to make other plans if Rock wasn't coming to the studio, which he often doesn't.
Yep.
You would have another backup plan. And these guys had a plan. They said publicly that they didn't, and there was no plan B. This was it. Don't kid yourself. This is a
3 minutes.
$several $100 million deal. They had other ideas and plans that they were looking into. They just couldn't go down that road until the Tempe vote failed. There are multiple sites that I'm hearing. Nothing confirmed. Somebody came up today and said there have been discussions already with the city of Mesa. There are other locations within the state of Arizona that they are looking to pursue deals with. Here was my concern. My concern was there wouldn't be enough time. The Board of Governors of the NHL and Gary Bettman would finally say, okay, that's it. We're done with Arizona. We tried. This needs to move this summer. We've got to get this team moved. With them coming out, the league coming out and saying, no, we're committed to them staying at Mullet Arena for 23-24, that buys this franchise time, which I didn't think they had, and now they do. They need to move quick. They need to, by the time the puck drops in the fall, they need to go, okay, we're looking at Mesa, we're looking at Scottsdale, we're looking at Phoenix, we're looking
2 minutes.
Whatever that plan may be, they better be ready in the next 3 to 4 months to have something else to roll out. Then there's a chance. If there isn't something, a solid plan by the fall, or at least by the end of the year, by December, then this team will be moving next year.
Fishing up with Steve Peters here, hockey analyst. You can follow him on S. Peters Hockey on Twitter and Go PHNX. Conference finals are getting underway tonight. Panthers, Hurricanes, and tomorrow it's the Golden Knights and Stars. Who do you like coming out of the conference finals?
I tell you what, Mark, I am so thrilled to talk hockey. Like I'm not a politician. I don't know arenas, but I do know hockey.
Yes.
I'm standing right now in the parking lot of T-Mobile Arena looking at the building for Friday's game. Tonight's game in Carolina, I really, really, really like this Carolina Hurricane team. I think they do everything well. They don't do anything great, but they do everything extremely well.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Carolina Hurricanes out east to beat the Florida Panthers, and I think it's going to be quick. I'm looking at 5 games, and that one will be over. Out here in the West, it's going to take a little bit longer. I think these two teams are evenly matched, but I like the Dallas Stars in this one, and I'm going to say that one's in 6 games for the Dallas Stars.
Well, good. Then we'll catch up with you next week, and we'll talk some puck, all right? You good with that? None of this Coyotes arena stuff, all right?
Can't wait.
All right, have fun up there, buddy. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. I'll take your
bring in my garbage.
Yeah, I was just going to say, today's is the black one, I think. So I bring in the black one today. Yeah, okay.
The black one.
All right, Monday is the pink one. Yeah, okay. I got it. I got you.
Thanks so much, guys.
You got Steve Peters joining us. Hey, make sure you check him out at Go PHNX. And does a tremendous job. He's with Craig Morgan and a bunch of others, so they do a good job. Hey, coming up, your chance to win a $25 Twin Peaks Man card as you will challenge one of the young ladies here at the Twin Peaks Deer Valley, Jalen. The games you'll pick are Lakers, Nuggets,